skills are something which you build by your own self. It should not be like मैंने आपको बोला that work on Unix the future of tomorrow. It should not happen like in that.
Hello everyone and welcome to our channel placement interview. This is your host Sonia Gatraj, and today we have with us Mr. Siddhant Pradhan, a technical developer at TCS, and he is here to share his experience with us. So before moving ahead with the interview, first of all, welcome to our channel, Mr. Siddhant, and would you tell us something about yourself?
Sure. First thing first, thank you so much, Sonia, for just inviting me on your show. And it's actually a privilege for me to connect with the audience and interact with them about my experiences and my portfolio. So first thing first, I'm a technical developer in TCS. As you correctly mentioned, my scope of working over there is in the domain of Linux and Unix. I mean, I'm in the account of RBC, that stands for Royal Bank of Canada, which is one of the largest account anyone would have received. Furthermore, I mean, before TCS, I mean, my portfolio was somewhere around into multiple firms. I have worked with like more than about 25 to 30 firms in different domains, whether it is cloud computing, whether it is Azure, whether it is of digital marketing, technical writing, CRF, training, etc. So all in all, I've just made sure that the chameleon skin doesn't get fade away, and I have participated in different firms so that things goes around and my experience portfolio enhances in that particular accordance.
Okay. So could you please brief us about the company you're currently working with?
Sure. I mean, as I've said that currently I'm working with Tata Consultancy. So over there, my role is of a technical developer. I mean, I have to work and manage the part of whether it can be services, ServiceNow, migration, or any other aspect. My part is to just make sure that whatever the consignments we have been receiving around, I have to make sure that the code sets which are written, I mean, see, the account is of BSFI, that is business, finance, and marketing. So the accordance, you can just understand, it would be towards transaction, deposits, accounting, database. So I have to just make sure that the DBA part doesn't get distorted, the accounting part, the logic part doesn't get out of hand, and that's what we have to make sure that whatever the code or whatever the logic we are just writing or putting down, it makes sense in the end. What we want to deliver to the account which we are working around has his or her benefits with our services.
Okay, so as you know, there comes a roles and responsibility in every profession we talk about. So what are the roles and responsibilities that you have to go through on a day-to-day basis?
See, the roles and responsibilities is something I believe, it should not be like a dal chawal kind of thing. It should not be a constant thing. Transition is required on an everyday basis. So the good part about my firm is the transition I am receiving on a daily basis. I mean, if I say that I'm not working on the same developing prospect, ki utho, laptop on karo, write down the codes and submit, and that is not something which we have to work on a day-to-day basis. My role is towards handling the database part also. My role is to work on the developing aspect also. My role is to support what we can say, ServiceNow team, so that they can also have a look around that what we are working around. We have to also support our QA team if they are stuck anywhere. So overall, we have to make sure the performance, we have to make sure the service we are providing, we have to make sure the code we are deploying.
So as you know, in order to enhance in the profession, the skills are really very important and it plays a vital role in any profession. So being a technical developer, what are the skills that we should focus on in order to enhance in that thing?
See, I would suggest skills are something which you build by your own self. It should not be like मैंने आपको बोला that work on Unix the future of tomorrow. It should not happen like in that particular accordance. So what I believe is, first you have to encourage yourself that what are your potential. The potential can be anything, and that potential can be inherited in you once you deep dive into different prospects. Like start with Java, start with Selenium, start with Python, start with different languages, and get a touch of it. If you feel that okay, I am understanding this particular prospect, then go into that particular prospect in more depth, and you will come to know that what you have been seeing, it's a pond or a lake, it can turn out to be an ocean. So just to make sure that particular ocean, if you want to dive into that ocean, you just need to make sure that you get into the river or lake first and get an understanding of it. So yeah, that's how I would suggest to build a skill.
Okay, so for the technical skills, do you want to mention some of the resources or platforms that the viewers can utilize it?
Definitely. I mean, I would suggest the best platform you can opt for, and that too free, would be YouTube itself. And because the reason is, there are n number of developers and number of coders who have enlisted themselves in this particular past COVID era or lockdown era, whatever you pronounce it. Because what we have observed is, when we were the developer, when we were in the search of knowledge checks, we were in the search of resources, उस time पे उतनी availability नहीं थी. But now, if you have a look around, the third person, the fourth person is a developer and who is uploading his or her work. So what I would suggest is, yeah, definitely I can say that in the bunch of n number of बोलते हैं ना, that there is a saying in Hindi that कोयले के खान में हीरे को पहचानते kind of thing. So counting that era, I would suggest there are 3 to 4 channels which you can opt for. First would be Edureka. Second would be Code with Harry. Third would be, you can opt for this. This is something which I believe would be Techie India, and W3 School is also a platform which you can opt for. And lastly, if you are into, I mean, what we can say, the prospect of certification and all, so yeah, then you can opt for Coursera and Udemy, and would suggest try not to pay as much as you can, because now things are so resilient for everyone that Udemy and Coursera courses are also available for free.
Okay. So during your interview process, how was the question and answer handled at your company, and anything interesting happened during the process of interview?
Interesting was something. I mean, what happens in the interview? I mean, trust me, this happens. शक्ल पे ही पता चल जाता है that how much time they are going to spare on you. Why? The reason is, when I was into my interview, I was short confident enough that I would be able to tackle majority of the chunks of amount of questions. And same thing happened. A normal interview conducts about 20 to 25 minutes. Mine went for 40 minutes, and and you can just count. But the reason happened is, they were into HR round. They took my technical round. They asked me, if there was a question on bubble shot, then they were like, provide us a proper elaborative code that how you will be proceeding with the bubble shot aspect. So there were multiple things happening around in interview session. And for me, the trickiest part I would suggest was the HR round, where the questions were pretty, what we can say, turn around. If I would have answered something not in the favor of the firm, I may not be sitting in TCS and would be developing. I mean, if I have to take an example, the question was something like, suppose TCS is not providing you the value you are expecting. You are expecting that aapko ye mile, you want to be in a developer role and all sort of things. But we are unable to provide you that particular role. We think that your potential is more into support. Will you work in that particular support firm, or will you drop from our firm? This was the question they asked me. And that was the point. If I would have said that, okay, I would do support, then also they would think that, okay, ye compromise kar sakta hai. If I would have said that, main chhod dunga, then they would have never accepted me. So these were the moments when you have to be tricky with your answers, and this is the moment where you have to more diplomatic. And what happened with me at that particular moment is that I answered in that accordance, that I would first think that whether the support thing which I am receiving is of my potential or not. If not, I would just ask to my manager if there is any chance, or to my RMG, is there any chance that I can get something or the development prospect. If he says that yes, you may, but there would be a time span of 4 to 6 months, definitely I would be waiting for that particular opportunity, because this is a firm. I mean, any firm is a land of opportunity. If you can't wait for that particular opportunity, then you have to build that particular patience accordance also into yourself. So that's the thing what I would suggest to everyone, that from today itself, try to be more diplomatic as compared to direct.
So any advices that you want to give us to our future aspirants who wants to join the same role as yours?
The same as I've told earlier that right now we are into the era that आप एक skill के sorry you can't be with one single skill set. You have to pursue multiple things in your role, and there should be a one major skill set which you possess. I mean, if I'm a Unix Linux developer, so that is something which I reflect in my portfolio, resume, GitHub, everywhere. And the secondary prospect would be my technical writing thing, digital marketing, cloud computing, Python, etc., etc., etc. So what I believe is, take your primarily skill set as your goal where you want to progress, and parallelly do have your secondary or tertiary backups which will help you in your future prospects. So that would be something which I would suggest to my future aspirants.
So with this, we end our interview, and thank you so much, Mr. Siddhant, for joining with us today. And we wish you a very best of luck from our team placement interview as well. And the viewers, you can also connect with him through LinkedIn. His links will be in the description box below. And thank you so much for your time, Mr. Siddhant.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you so much your core team for making this particular thing possible on a short notice. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you.